All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of as we look to close out the week in the Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper. As always, take lots of notes. Let's make sure that we participate and engage. If everybody can hear me loud and clear, drop me a one in the chat. Let me know that you're ready to go on this non-farm payroll Friday. All right. I see the good morning from Donette. Morning to you. All right. So let's make sure that we start each and every morning with our foundation, and that is to take massive action with everything that we do. Make sure that we're accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing for any outcome. Let's center ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, assuring a balanced approach to trading. Let's trust in our education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. And as always, let's imagine that our trades are successfully materializing and that we are obeying our trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed and fear, and that we are never looking back or stopping once our trade has commenced. So I hope everybody has had an awesome, awesome week as we look to close out, right? This Friday already, right? In October, already the first Friday of October, and we are looking at non-farm payroll, right? So today, uh, big report, right? This is what everybody's waiting on. Right here, Trading Economics, they have their projection that the U.S. economy likely added 140,000 jobs. It says that the U.S. economy is projected to add 140,000 jobs in September, roughly the same as 142,000 in August, while the unemployment rate is expected to remain steady at 4.2%. Wages likely rose 0.3% month over month, slightly less than a 0.4% in August, leaving the yearly gain unchanged at 3.8%. So we'll see if that projection is right on the money or if we're going to have some surprises uh, this morning once that report rolls out at, let me scroll down at 8:30 this morning, right? So you see there average hourly earnings, farm employment change, and the unemployment rate. You got a FOMC member speaking today. Not sure what they're speaking on, but it's always important to highlight that. And that is pretty much going to be the major news today. Unemployment rate in Switzerland came through right on forecast at 2.6%. French industrial production came through positive, right? Look at that, 1.4% on 0.3 was the forecast. So yeah, that is good news there. And so other than the non-farm payroll and the employment data today, uh fairly light day. Fairly light day today. We see Thursday that our ISM services PMI came to at 54.9 above forecast. Right. So unemployment claims came due uh, right on par, right? 225,000 forecast was 222. Okay, so pretty steady, right on target there. So Switzerland CPI came in at 0.3, negative 0.3%. So non-farm payroll, that's the main thing. Like I said yesterday, a lot of times you'll start to see the markets move a bit sideways just ahead of the data, as everybody is starting to take uh, some caution. Okay. Um, Also, let's see here. We have uh, European shares lack direction, right? That's normal. Leading into non-farm. Japanese yen is set for a sharp weekly fall, right? We've been on top of that all week for the most part. Spanish factory output falls for the second month. Brent set for a strong weekly gain. Take a look at crude oil. Crude oil futures rose above $74 per barrel on Friday, trading at a 4-week high and poised for its highest weekly gain since late March 2023 as the escalating conflict in the Middle East continued to pose supply risk, right? Fears intensified after U.S. President Biden on Thursday avoided directly condemning the potential for Israel to target Iran's oil facilities. Additionally, Tel Aviv vowed to retaliate against Iran this week while increasing its activity in Beirut amid its conflict um, with Hezbollah. However, supply concerns were alleviated by OPEC's spare production capacity and the continued stability of global crude supplies. Furthermore, Libya's oil production has resumed. Right, we talked about that some months ago in regards to that picking up in Libya. Libya's oil production has resumed across all oil fields and export terminals, reinforcing the case for ample supply. Right, so we got some things happening. It's kind of aiding everything, against what's going on in the Middle East, kind of offsetting it. On the demand side, signs of a strong U.S. economy has supported expectations for fuel demand with positive labor market data earlier this week, adding to the optimism ahead of today's key jobs report. So we'll see what happens. Private sector jobs came through pretty good. We'll see what's going to go on with the non-farm uh, payroll there. Gold remained near 2660 per ounce on Friday, trading at record levels, benefiting from a safe haven status magnified by the heightened geopolitical risk. Right, safe haven status. Right, we already know. Been riding gold. Right, rode it to 2600 for the simple fact that rate cuts. Right, we're expected this year, which is what we're getting, and now, right, it's playing the safe haven because of geopolitical. Right, markets are closely monitoring the develops in the Middle East as fears intensified. Right, so again, I want to repeat the same thing. The Middle East conflict is to the top of everybody's mind right now in the markets, just all over the world. Period. Okay, so uh, that's that on gold. Moving over to the indices, as far as S&P U.S. futures were little changed on Friday as investors look ahead to the September jobs report for more insights on the labor market. In regular trade Thursday, the Dow fell 0.44%, S&P lost 0.17%, and the Nasdaq Composite Index down 0.4%. 8 out of the 11 S&P sectors ended lower, led to the downside by consumer discretionary materials and real estate stocks. On the other hand, the energy, technology, and communication sectors outperformed. The moves came as financial markets were rattled after President Biden. So again, the Middle East is uh, is leading everything. Right. So if we move over to the spiders and look at the sectors, this is what we're talking about. Right. As far as most of your sectors being down yesterday as a result. Right. And so uh we won't see a ton until after the non-farm, and then again it's Friday. So the key is what's gonna happen moving into next week after the non-farm payroll data. And then of course, if anything else develops, in the Middle East, right, over the weekend. So we shall see. All right, we shall see. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right, Ryan. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. I'm doing well, man. Glad to be here. How about yourself?
Oh man, doing good, man. It's Friday.
Yes, sir.
It's
It
it's
definitely is.
it's Friday. So always happy when it's the end of a busy. So anything fundamentally top of mind for you?
Um, Everything that you just covered obviously is top, but I don't know if you covered the port situation. They decided to extend the current contract until January 15th to
Somebody got at him, huh?
uh, to avoid any political tension.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's what I'm saying. Somebody picked up that phone from DC. Like, hold up.
We don't want this to be a part of this election. So let's push this thing out. So they're
Yeah.
back to work this morning. Um, and then we'll look in January to see what happens there. But that's it on top of what you just covered, bro.
That's good news. So I wonder if that'll markets open, if that'll have any impact.
Maybe. So what I was reading is it's going to take them 2 to 3 months to get all of the ships that have been sitting unloaded
Oh man.
while the other ships are still coming in. So for them to get back normal, we'll basically be in January.
Yeah. Jeez, oh peaks.
So we'll see. We'll see. One of the things we could potentially look into though is um, some of the shipping companies added in this article. Some of those stocks obviously decreased because they were anticipating an increase in shipping costs.
Yep,
So something we might want to research going into as we get closer to January, potentially seeing if there are some ETFs that we can add into our thoughts on the shipping side.
for sure. For sure. That's a good thought. That is a good thought indeed. So we'll see, man. Well, hey, I guess thank goodness until January, at least. What's
Right.
going on? Because I know that I forget the guy's name that's leading the whole thing. He was on TV going off. So glad somebody was able to call and at least temporarily get that situation straight.
Yeah.
Uh, it's amazing what can happen in 24 hours.
Right. Right. I'm interested to see how these contract talks go because they over the next I think 5 or 7 years they want to increase in pay of 62%.
Oh,
Um,
oh wow.
along with stipulations regarding technology and autonomous workers and AI and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how these talks actually go.
Yeah, for sure. And that's that they need to hire some people. 3 months is a long time. I agree. I agree. Joyce said Costco rally. The panic buy. Yep, yep, yep. I was thinking that. I was thinking that too, because I know my wife and her sister was definitely on top of it in regards to loading up and making sure everything was all good just in case. So crazy how things work, right? Emotions, emotions. They did buy the toilet paper. I don't know. We got plenty here for sure as as a result. So all right, so let's move over. Take a look at appreciate it, Ryan. Take a look at the DXY. See where we are, right? So just ahead of some key data, we are at a key level, right? So market, at least on the daily, is moving into overbought territory. We broke and closed above this level, this daily level here. This 101. What's that official? We'll go off this high right here. 101.85 number, and now we're pulling back just before uh the non-farm payroll data today. So that's what we're looking at. Right at the top of that range, 4 hour, we do have a high established. So we'll see what happens. If it comes in above, right on or below forecast, and then we'll see the reaction throughout the day, or at least that initial reaction once investors start to get their heads wrapped around that report. All right. So as we know, that report is multifaceted. So we'll wait to see what happens there. Any questions on the DXY?
No
All right.
question.
All right. So we're good. Okay. So moving on, right? We'll move in, take a quick look at our indices just for pre-market, just before, the non-farm payroll. We'll take a look at some of the dollar pairs and then anything else that you guys want to take a look at, just so we can get a gauge technically where we are, right? S&P on the daily, right? We started to make that correction and that move down, we do have a high here that's been put in. Okay. But we see how we're getting that correction down. Look at our stochastic and that momentum, right? How that's pointing straight down, but we're moving sideways there, right? Okay. So that momentum isn't too strong to the downside. We've got to fight right at this level, and you can see how we're just moving sideways on the daily. Okay, so let's see how that non-farm payroll data comes through. Okay, on that. So we are arranging, right? We got bullish at the close of yesterday. We can move down to the 4. Take a look at things a little closer. Do we get price to come down and retest the support level? Right. That's the first zone that I would really uh, like to see price retest, right? To see if it holds, to look to add, you know, to a S&P 500 position, if we can get it to do it. So we'll see what happens, which way price wants to go after the data this morning. I'll get a 4-hour fib on here just so we can get an idea. Where we are on the 4-hour chart in regards to the sequence. There we go. Right, we're right at the edge of that buy zone. Right at the edge of that buy zone on the 4. That doesn't look too bad on this 4-hour chart, right? So I'm gonna put this trend line here because we're actually uh have a good support there on that 4. So we'll see if we can push up, you know, from there and get long. That looks really nice on the 4-hour. Right. The deeper the better for me. But we'll see how price reacts. See if that data is positive. Right, so that's one to keep an eye on that S&P 500 again, right? Interest rate cutting environment, U.S. GDP growth is looking good, right? So I am actually bullish for the most part on stocks and the on the S&P. So that's a this is a really good zone. So that's that. That's the S&P. Moving on to the US 30. We are on the 4. And we don't have as deep of a correction. Okay. As deep of a correction on the US 30. Right. Would love to see it pull back. Right. Past resistance becoming future support around this area. We may or may not get that, right? Depending on that data. We need it. We need a catalyst, right, to see what happens. So that's where we are on the US 30 on the 4 new AB boundary, currently in a retracement zone. So we'll see how that fares today. Any questions on the US 30? Nope.
No, sir.
All right. Let me go down to a 1-hour chart to see uh, how deep that correction is on the 1-hour bid. Fix that later. Okay. See what we're looking like here. Expand that out a little bit. Keep it in the wrong spot there. There we go. That's what I thought. It's probably gonna be deeper, right? So let's watch this one, right? See what happens with the data this morning, right? See how deep this correction is on the one, which I thought it was gonna be super deep on the one. Looking at that 4 hour fib as big as it is, so um, we'll watch this one from the one on the 4 hour to see if we get price to reverse out as a result of the data. If right, we push lower. Here's that support that I was talking about, which was within your AB boundary on the four, but it'll actually take the A out on the 1 hour, right? So let's see what happens from this 1 hour chart on this US 30. Okay. Moving on to the NASDAQ. 100. Here we are on the four. We're getting a bounce right now off this 236 area. Okay. Getting a solid bounce. See if that wants to carry through to the upside this morning. Again, I'll drop down to the 1 hour to see what we're looking like on the 1 hour chart. There we there we are on the one. Right. So we got the one we're a little deeper right off that 382. And you can see where we've tested this level multiple times. Okay. So we have a daily level here, right? 19,946. So let's see which way, right? The momentum forces price. Any questions on the NAS 100? Yep. All righty. Uh, moving over, take a look at the Russell. This is our daily chart, right? Stochastic, right? It's right at the edge of that buy zone. Okay. So if that non-farm payroll data comes through super positive, right, we may start to see, hey, this put in this higher low and continue to rally to the upside. Again, we'll take it down to the lower time frames to get an idea of how things are playing out. All right, so we pulled back to this level a long time ago. So we want to see, right? Is this where this higher low is going to form and we're going to continue to rally? That could be an entry opportunity. Okay. I would not try to trade, uh, well, it's gonna happen at 8:30 anyway. But so you won't have to worry about that. But again, just reiterating, we always wait. We don't try to trade ahead, right? So we know currencies are moving right now. We don't try to trade ahead of the data. And forex trading, we typically try to wait, right? Now, if you're already involved in a long-term swing, that's a different issue, right? It's a different scenario, right? We're already involved in that swing, but for any type of new positions, we want to wait uh, for the reports to come out and then look to see what our opportunities are after, okay? Not before. We know that the market can move all over the place, all over the place. So we want to wait, okay? That makes sense to everybody? Drop me a 2 in the chat. Want to make sure we're clear on that. Okay? A lot of people get wrecked on these days, especially non-farm. Okay, so let's be smart about it and what we're doing. So that's the 4 hour look there. See what we look like on our 1 hour chart. We'll go all the way back, run our fibs forward, just for good measure. Bring it forward. Too much crazy price action, right? On the one, right? So we'll just hold it here, right? So we like that 4 hour look better, it's cleaner, right? If we're looking bullish, I don't want to play it to the downside, right? So I want to keep my fibs in the upward direction. So we'll leave this one on the 4 hour chart. So we'll back up, go to our four. Right there, like so. So that's the best look there. There. All right. So that's our Russell 2000. Any questions on that? All right. If we continued our rally from here, that would be a great opportunity. Really good opportunity there. Okay. So let's see what happens. All right. Probably could run off this four. See what our sub fibs are looking like. Get one off this 4 hour wave. Might look just like the 1 hour. Yep. So that's the look right there. See if we can settle down and continue to rally. Right. If not, of course, we're just gonna go in the opposite direction. But I don't want to short it at this point. Here we are on the this GR30. That's looking pretty good. Okay. So let this non-farm payroll data come out. That's making a pretty good U-turn though. Beautiful 80-20 play. We're settling right in our buy zone. We put in the low, right? We've got a 4 hour low there, 4 hour stochastic in the buy zone. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what happens there. I like that. So we've got the S&P, right? That uh looks like a good opportunity again to review that one. Right? And then we've got this GR30 that's looking right similar, like with a move to the upside there. So that's two. Of course, we're gonna keep an eye on that the Nasdaq our UK 100, right? Moving to that downside. Right, so we didn't get that move in that break in that retest. We're moving in the opposite direction. All right, this is the one. Let's move on up. Look at the higher time frames on this one now. We seem to be breaking. All right, let's look at I'll look at that later for the sake of time and move something. Uh, but I want to read up on this one here, right? Because right, this is in our sell zone as UK 100. We're starting to get some momentum, right? We had this tight range and we said, hey, we need some sort of a breakout either way, right? It was looking like it wanted to start moving to the upside yesterday. You see how we closed yesterday. So this right now is structured to the downside. Okay, so at UK 100, right, we can look for some opportunities right now that's looking bearish. But again, the non-farm payroll has the ability to impact everything. Let's wait and see what happens with this. But we may be looking for lower lows and lower highs for short opportunity in the UK 100. So we'll continue to watch that. This is the SMH, right? Semiconductor ETF, right? Tech. And right, since we've got a low here on the daily, how we finished out. So we'll see if we can continue to rally. That's the stochastic. It's not already all the way completely back in the buy zone yet, but it's looking good for continuing to the upside. All right. And again, that's not an index. That's a ETF that I've just had plugged in that workspace for the last forever. The Nikkei 225 again. We're playing this long, right? So we've been moving sideways, but I like that still structured to the upside for continue long. All right, we were talking about that yesterday. The scenario with the yen, which companies that are heavy on the exports out of Japan, right? Put in a rally. So we'll see if that continues to carry this Nikkei 225 to the upside. Any questions on any of the indices? Nope. All right. Look at the spiders. We had the energy sector, right, rally 1.76% yesterday. So I want to take a look at that on the chart. Uh, so we can see what's going on there. Right. So here we are, right? Let's put in a nice move. Look at that on the daily. Beautiful move to the upside. Uh-huh. It moved quick. I definitely wasn't on top of it. Not involved in it. Look at that. Right? So hey, we keep that we keep this running. So we got 94.24 our energy sector ETF. So we can set this for an upside target here. Okay. 94.24. And then what we could do is we can highlight this low. Bring it down to your 4 hour, 1 hour to see if there's any opportunity to get involved. Be nice if I had the rest of my chart load, but it didn't. That's weird how that spotted up. I don't know what I did. Anyway, let's make sure that we're accurate coming off this low. And just want to make sure we got the right fit back to the now. So there. So this is this fib, but this should be running. So that's weird. Let me try to reset this. Yeah, it's not making any sense really. So we'll just keep it on the daily right now until I figure out what's going on. But definitely bullish 94.24 target. Figure out what's going on. But that's that. Any questions on this energy sector ETF? No. So long. And let me, right. So if you're ever interested, right? So we know energy, right, is running. So we could go in and we could take a look at that breakdown, right? So maybe there's an individual stock. So we see that this is running now, right? Okay, some seasonality, right, having to do with this as well. So we got Exxon, right? So you can drill down and say, okay, right? Maybe I want to go trade, ConocoPhillips, 1.87%, right? Schlumberger up 2.16%, 1.92%. Look at this. Marathon Petroleum, 5.72%. Huge, right? So you can actually look these up and trade them. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, no? Okay. All right. So you can drill down. And what's cool is you can take the same approach. It doesn't change. We don't change how we do our top-down analysis because it's a stock versus an ETF or versus a currency. We take the exact same approach, right? So if I wanted to create a workspace, right? And I wanted to put this, and I wanted to take, say, this is up 6.15, so we could take something like VLO, right? And look that up, okay? And we could come here and we could take this same approach and we can get involved and trade it, okay? We know as a group, we know how to calculate our risk. We know how to use the risk calculators, right? If you're trading with Darwin or any other, account that you may have where this is available to trade stock, right? options, anything, right? You can go in and take this exact same approach. Nothing's nothing's changing, right? Back in the day, I used to hear everything, you know, has its own personality. You have to trade it differently, right? This one I want to use this moving average versus this one I want to use another moving average. On this one I want to use the MACD, right? We just find it better to take the same universal approach to everything, no matter what the asset class. I can't say that enough. It just makes your life a whole lot easier if you do it that way. You may agree, disagree, right? It's okay. But once I discovered that the market moves ABCD ways, right? And I say discovered because the mentors that I had invested in had told me that over and over and over again. But even though they tell you, you still have to discover it for yourself in a sense, right? So that you find confidence in it. You have to get the reps in so you can believe it for yourself. Okay. So, all right, we're gonna drop down to the weekly. All right, you see this thing, find us some support. And we're running. So I'm gonna put my weekly levels in blue. And again, as always, right, we know that support resistance, this is just a line, right? It's an area. And I've just always found it easier to use lines because it just keeps my charts clean. It's an aesthetic. Right? Now, you don't have to put both like I do. You just take the highest one, really. Because again, support and resistance is a zone. We want to mark these levels, right? Move up the staircase. See where we have levels now, right? So that becomes very easy to see. Okay? Now we can dress it up a bit, right? And start running our fibs. But you can see where you could do just fine learning how to mark the support and resistance levels. Okay. So then we'll add our stochastic, right? And we see that we're moving to the upside. Look at our stochastic. It's put in a higher low and it's pushing. So we'll come to our low point, go back in time, and we'll start to run our fib to the upside. So run it on the daily. Boom. That's just getting right? Same framework, different asset. So the question is, yep, did we get that 786 target? It looks like yes, right here. Okay. So here's the center candle low. Right there it was 130.37. Our 786 level is 130.53. So long term, in the way distant future on this daily. It could be a possibility at some point in time. Right? Don't know when we can set that target. But for right now, we know we've got to swing to the upside. Now, if we want to come in and put some lower targets in, I can delete these and go down to the lower time frames and trade the smaller wave. Right? And so I'm deleting them because I'm working within the same workspace. Right? If I don't, then when I move down through the charts, they'll overlap each other. Because I don't have this one stock built out as its own separate workspace. Hey Ryan, does yours do this too? Where it takes forever to load when you drop down to the lower time frames on some of these stocks?
Yeah, it does. It does. Loading
Okay.
all the historical data.
Yeah, it's more detailed. So I just want to make sure this wasn't me.
Yep.
All right. So run this off to four. So that's your 4 hour look there. So we've got our outer trend line and we've got our inner trend line. This is the lowest point. A little sideways. That was our break. Okay. So technically, all right, this is what we're looking like. Same setup, really. We can get more granular, but I'll leave it there. I don't want to go to the 1 hour. I'll leave it there on the four like that, bro. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay. So that's how you do it, right? So you can dig down, right? You can trade. You've got the skill set now, right? That you can trade whatever you want, right? I can go through and put every last one of these into a chart, right, and run the technicals on it, and then read up and get a sound understanding, fundamentally in regards to energy. Okay, so even if you take a buy and hold approach, and you're looking at it more from a uh, investor perspective, that's fine, right? Because that's as I get older, as I spend more years in the game, right? It's almost like you evolve uh, to to being more long term, which is where I'm headed, right? As a matter of fact, I'm there, right? And it's exactly what you're saying, Tyrone. It's all down to patience with the entry. So just think of the success that a lot of longer term uh, investors have. But if you have the technical ability to be able to have a framework to say, this is my discount, this is my low price, right? Instead of just, you know, buying in the area, right? Just strictly off your fundamentals. If you can combine the two, you can really buy in to different stocks, indices, ETFs at really good levels, right? And then scale in from there. All right, then scale in there. So it becomes a different ballgame, different ballgame, right? At least that's what I. So that's how you can do that, and then you can go through. You can just take the top ones, right? You can take the top ones by weight if you want. You can go by weight, right? So Exxon, CVX, right? You can say I'm gonna take the top five and I'm gonna look to trade them, right? However you want to do it, right? Or invest in it. Okay. So that's that. Taking a look at as we move to close out, want to take a look at these dollar crosses uh, before non-farm payroll. So you'll never forget the term in trading discount. Brilliant analogy. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is, right? You use that framework, the Fibonacci sequence in the framework. You know those retracement levels, right? As your discount levels, for sure, right? For sure, right? On the buy side. So here's this Aussie dollar. It's been tailing off. We can see our stochastic right on the daily moving clean. This is a level that we had highlighted, right? Are we going to stay? Are we going to stabilize here and continue to move long? That's the question, right? So it's been a nice move down off the highs. So again, if we're playing the daily and we're playing those swing highs and swing lows, there we go. Right? We've gotten to move down, right? Look at our stochastic. It's moving down. Is hey, do we stay within this zone though? Okay. That's been a nice move. Do we stay within the zone, or do we start to settle down and make a U-turn from that point? Right? It'll be interesting because here's our fib on the daily. Right? Here are these levels. Here's that zone. I mean, on the 4 hour, I'm sorry, that zone. So it's just a matter of where this price wants to settle down. We know we've got the DX swap back at the top of the range. 1 hour, 80-20. Okay. So just know that ahead of that's the uh that's the Aussie dollar, Euro USD. We know, right? So it's just in reverse of the DXY, right? So that DXY has been moving up, Euro USD has been moving down. Okay, been moving down. But we're coming into some key support just ahead of the data. Stochastic is back in the buy zone on the Euro USD. All right, here we are here. All right, dollar had been extremely bearish, right? So we saw that Euro make a run against it, but you can see here where we double topped and come right back down to our buy zone. Won't know till after non-farm payroll which direction we may be headed. All right, that's the Euro USD. Move it down to the pound dollar. Daily, right? We got bearish, up retracement zone. But look at our stochastic, right? We're right back in our buy zone. Here's our 4 hour. Sitting in our buy zone. Let's see what happens, right? This is one to keep an eye on here. Okay. Negative data, right? This could rally. This could rally. 4 hour stochastic in the buy zone. Okay. This could rally nicely. We got pretty much a double bottom here on our stochastic. Hmm. That's the pound dollar. NZD USD. Strong dollar. Look at that. Falling bearish. Okay. Another reason is why market concerns, Middle East, right? Market sentiment, right? Those risk gauges go a little bit risk off like it was in the beginning of the week. Strong dollar acting as a safe haven somewhat as well, move down. Okay? But again, we're coming into support. So a lot of these dollar crosses, we're coming into key support just ahead of major data. This is our 4 hour look. So do we put in a higher low here and rally? Yes, I think so. I think so, Joy. Got to double check on that. I think they do. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So that's your NZD USD. Moving down, taking a look at your dollar CAD. Okay. Here's that daily chart. They're moving long, right? Off that level. That was from a while ago. Moving long off that level. Let's take a look at it on the 4. So look at this pullback just ahead of data. Okay, just ahead of the data. There's that move off the low. Okay, 80-20 zone. Let's see what happens. A lot of these technically would kind of lead you to believe, like, man, we might like it that that the dollar is setting up to bail. Right? The way these are looking. But we'll see. Dollar Swissy. Right. It's kind of been in that range like the dollar, like the DXY, right? Kind of in that same range, right? Looks just like it somewhat, right? The DXY is back at the top of the range. We're back at the top of the range there, so nothing really doing. That's just choppy. Nice move off this leg to move back higher, but we'll see. And then this dollar yen. Yeah, move higher. Look at where we're sitting, right? We're kind of at this pause at this level. All right, stochastic in the sell zone. Okay. Got this move back up to this level here. Let's see. I run this fib off the low. Take it out. It's there. I like things long. It's the end right now. So we'll see how this plays out. Here's our 1 hour. Okay. So again, it's sitting pretty high. So it's a correction time for this dollar. All right. Beautiful 80-20. That took out all 3 levels there. And so that's that. So like I say, we're at some key levels, right? When the dollar is the base currency, we're sitting at some pretty high levels, right? Of getting to some key resistance areas, and where's the counter, right? Where's some key support zones. So we'll see. Let's see if we get dollar weakness today. You got out. Take it. That's good, right? You got to do what you got to do for sure. So again, right as we close out right? A little under an hour from now, we got non-farm payroll for the United States. That's really the biggest thing going on today. Uh, know that that's a series of reports. Don't try to trade it. Just wait to see where things shake out, and then we'll make our moves. Right. Anything before we close out, sir?
No, sir. Great session, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I did take a lower position, so I'm still in. All right. Well, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Always active in the market. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll make sure we post something in the group once those numbers come out from non-farm payroll. And hey, don't just count your pips, but indeed count your blessings. Have a great day, everybody.